We're going to start by establishing a formula for naming a chord. So we can work out the names of chords such as those shown above. Let's have a look at these chords. The first note of both chords is an A. The highest note of both chords is an E. The middle note of the chord on the left is a C, whereas the middle note of the chord on the right is a C sharp. Let's start by trying to work out the name of the chord on the left. We do this by counting the semitones in between the different notes. We're going to start by counting the semitones in between the lowest two notes. The lowest note is an A and the next note up is a C. Let's see how many semitones there are. We're going to start on the note A. We move one semitone right to A sharp. We move another semitone right to B. And we move a third semitone right to C. Therefore, the distance between A and C is 3 semitones. Let's show this on the chord. The next thing we need to do is work out how many semitones there are between the middle note of the chord, which is C, and the highest note of the chord, which is E. So we're going to start on the note C. Now let's count the semitones. We move one semitone right to C sharp. We move another semitone right to D. We move another semitone right to D sharp, and we move to our final note of E. This is a count of 4 semitones. Let's add this to the chord. Let's show this a bit clearer. Our lowest note is A. We move 3 semitones right to C, and then we move 4 semitones right to E. Now let's have a look at the chord on the right. The only difference between the chord on the left and the chord on the right is the middle note. The middle note of the chord on the right is 1 semitone higher than the middle note of the chord on the left. Let's show this on the keyboard. This means we have extended the distance between the lowest note and the middle note of the chord. The lowest note of the chord is A, but the middle note of the chord is now C sharp. This means that there's now a greater number of semitones between the lowest note and the middle note, which has now increased to 4 semitones. This also means that the distance between the middle note and the highest note has now decreased to 3 semitones. Let's show this information a little bit clearer. Our lowest note is A. We move 4 semitones right to C sharp, and then we move 3 semitones right to E. Let's move this information underneath. When you have a chord which has 3 semitones between the lowest 2 notes and 4 semitones between the highest 2 notes, this is always a minor chord. And when the lowest 2 notes have 4 semitones between them and the highest 2 notes have 3 semitones between them, this is always a major chord. Therefore, the chord with A, C and E in it is called A minor because the lowest note is A, and the chord with A, C sharp and E in it is an A major chord, also because the lowest note is A. Let's try it out. Is this a major or minor chord? Well, as we've already found out, as the lowest note is F, this is going to be an F major or an F minor chord. Now let's count the semitones between the lowest and the middle note. We start with 0. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 semitones in between the first 2 notes. This means that this chord should be a minor chord. Now, as we are dealing with only minor and major chords in this video, we know already that this is going to be a minor chord. But if you were looking at this chord and comparing it to several other versions of an F chord, you would need to check how many semitones are in between the middle note and the highest note of the chord. So let's check this now. We begin with 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, this is going to be a minor chord, and it is an F minor chord. Now let's see if we can form a particular chord. We need to form the chord of E major. So now we can erase the minor chord formula. We need to form a chord of E major. So the lowest note we're going to add to our chord is E. Now we need to move 4 semitones to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our middle note is going to be G sharp. Now let's move 3 semitones to the right to find out our final note of the chord. We begin with 0. 1, 2, 3. Our final note is going to be B. Now this method only works for chords in root position. Root position is when the key note is the first or bottom note of the chord. So we can see in this example that E is the bottom note of the chord, therefore this is a root position chord. We can also tell it's a root position chord because the first note is on line 1 and then each of the other notes are on the next 2 lines, lines 2 and 3. If you are interested in any more music theory videos, please visit my YouTube channel.